So today we're going to be reflowing this GPU right here. Now I've tested this and it's completely broken, like it doesn't even detect anything in the computer. Now the good news is I did get this for free, so I'm not that like worried about it breaking if we do this method. But either way, what we're going to do is we're going to put this in the oven like pastries and cook it there for a few minutes in high temperature so we can reflow it. Now reflowing basically can fix your card by heating up the solder joints and doing magic, and your oven does things and it works. Now I've confirmed that this card is the issue because I've tested it on another card. This right here is a 750 Ti, as you can see. And in order to get started for the process, what we're going to need to do is actually take apart the card. So we're going to flip it back on its back, and we're going to need to remove these 4 screws. Now, for some manufacturers, removing these 4 screws would void your warranty, like MSI. EVGA does allow you to remove these without voiding your warranty, but they don't want you to put it in the oven. So if you do that, you obviously void warranty. And I hope I don't need to say this, but if you do this process, you are obviously going to lose your warranty. And also, if your card has warranty, how about you send it in for repairs instead of doing this first? Maybe that's something to think about. Anyway, so what we're going to do is we're just going to pop open the card, and looks like there's an extra screw right here. And now our card is popped open, so we just flip it off. And you're going to need to remove the cooler for the card. So now at this point, I've got the card apart for the most part. And you'll see that the thermal paste is completely dried up. Literally, I could remove it with my finger. It's like powdery. And that might have caused the issue. Now, the reason your graphics card may have died is because of heat stress or anything like that. I mean, it could just be a number of reasons, but for the most part, your graphics card dies over time due to stress from heat. And this right here is actually a super clogged card, which basically means that it's going to be hotter when running because it's overclocked. So, now that we've got the graphics card to the bare minimum, now is the time we should go and turn on the oven to about 375 degrees for 8 minutes or something. If you need it longer, you can. But yeah. Also, before I'm going to do this, I'm going to remove all the dust so that the dust doesn't like set on fire in the oven. Maybe that's a better idea. Alright, so at this point our pastries have finished cooking, so we have the card right here, and it looks fine. I just let it cool down a little bit after it was done for actually I let it stay for about 9 minutes just to be sure that everything works. And now is the time for reassembly. So we have the old thermal paste, and I'm going to remove it quickly here. Now I don't have anything to basically replace it with, or actually any thermal paste to replace it with. This actually rubs off like literally like chalk. But I'm going to replace it with toothpaste, and I actually tested in one of my videos how well toothpaste works as a temporary substitute for thermal paste, and turned out it's okay. So I'm going to use the same exact tube that I did use in that video. And I'm only doing this so I could test it, because if this doesn't work, I don't want to have to, just buy thermal paste for this. Also, another thing you should probably know is that this method is not permanent. It is basically very temporary until you can get yourself a new card, or if you want to squeeze a bit more life out of your card. Otherwise, this is going to just reflow it, and eventually your card is probably going to have the same exact issue. It's not going to work again, maybe at some point. And you can't just have a graphics card last, forever. So if you do this, it works, and then the next week your graphics card dies again. It's a temporary method, so we'll see how things go. Okay, so now we're going to see whether this worked. I have the graphics card straight in the computer. All I did was put one adapter on it so I could convert DVI to VGA, and we're going to press the power button and see if it works. So far the fan isn't spinning like it used to very quickly. Ooh, we have a light, and hey! Looks like we have a boot. So it looks like our method here for reflowing has actually worked this time. Looks like the GPU is back in order, so that's good. I'm gonna hook up my keyboard quickly though, because I can't test it otherwise. Okay, so here in MSI Afterburner, we can see that it's actually detecting the graphics card as a 750 Ti, which is actually what it is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a quick Cinebench on this, and I'll see how things go. And then we'll overclock it, and we'll see how much better we can get this card, because these generations of cards, like the 700, I guess, generation of NVIDIA cards, are actually really good at overclocking. So let's see, we're going to set this off to the side here, actually just close it up. And I'm going to run a quick Cinebench on the graphics card. Now, in the system I'm also running a Q6600 processor. This is the same Dell system I used for the $10 Xeon build, but this time I'm going to use a different graphics card, because I used to use the 750, this is 750 Ti, like a step up. Alright, so Cinebench just finished up, as you can see, and right here you can see that the FPS is 45 FPS is the average. Now, I actually overclocked the 750, and I managed to get 47 FPS maximum on that card. So what I'm going to quickly do is close out of Cinebench, and I'm going to open up MSI Afterburner so we can overclock the GPU a little bit, and I'll see how much performance we can squeeze out of it. So one time during that benchmarking, the computer rebooted for some reason. I'm assuming it was something to do with drivers. But now what we're going to do, I'm going to step up the core clock by just 50. I'm going to step up the memory clock by 100 or so. Let's do 100. Let's do 150. Usually the memory can overclock really well on these cards. So yeah, core clock, 50, memory clock. Let's do that. Okay, so looks like we overclocked here. So I'm just gonna leave that open, and I'm gonna go into Cinebench, and we're gonna run another benchmark to see how well we can do. Okay, so I think that was counted as a bit of a success because we beat the 750, and we also stepped up our score to about almost 50, 49 FPS, close enough. I want to see how much we can still keep overclocking, keep pushing this. So I'm going to open up Afterburner one more time, and we'll see what we can do. So over here, I don't know what I'm doing in terms of overclocking this past this point, because I know these settings are pretty good, but I'm going to do 300, and then 150 on this. Or 150? Excuse me, 150, there we go. For some reason I wasn't typing the 1. Okay, so now we're just going to click OK, and 150 and 300 is what we're working with here. Fun. Okay, so let's see what we get. Run one more test. Let's see if we get close to 60 FPS at least. I mean, fingers crossed. Hopefully it doesn't crash. If it crashes, I wouldn't be too surprised. But these cards can usually go quite a bit before they actually just give up. So, hey, that froze. Yep, and that's exactly what I was expecting. Okay, so it looks like our card has, or the driver actually crashed. Let's see if we can run this again with this driver, or I'm gonna push this card just way beyond what it can do at this point. 500 on the memory clock, putting 300 on the core clock. Let's do this, run it one more time. Alright, last run on Cinebench and OpenGL. Let's see. I doubt we're gonna get close to 60, but at this point I think this card's pretty good. With a slight overclock, this looks way better. It didn't even stutter. Well, it probably stuttered, but to my eyes on this monitor, it didn't look too bad. Well, other than it's just crashed. Okay, so it looks to have made it pretty much the whole way through at this point on the high settings that I put. So let's see what we get here. Can be close to 60. And that's definitely not 60. That's 49. Okay, so we can get about 50 FPS out of this card, but I would say this card's pretty good. You could probably push it even more, but I don't really feel like doing that, so I'm just gonna revert the settings back to the normal ones. But yeah, anyways guys, thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, and if you liked it, then make sure to subscribe. I know I haven't uploaded for like, what was it, 2 months or something? So yeah, I decided to fix the graphics card on my first video back. Also, thank you for 1,000 subscribers. Anyways, I'm out. I'll see you in the next one.